There's a mystery buried in the northern soil, one that modern architects rarely speak of. It isn't myth or legend. It's a lost science of warmth, perfected by the Vikings more than 1,000 years ago. These early settlers endured some of the harshest climates on Earth. Freezing winds, blizzards, and months of darkness. Yet they thrived in homes so well insulated, so naturally warm, that later generations dismissed them as primitive, even though they outperformed the grand stone halls that replaced them. This is the story of the earth-sheltered Viking home. A design so efficient it defied the ages, and so forgotten that it disappeared from architectural memory for centuries. The Viking world was a realm of extremes: short summers, long winters, and landscapes where the cold could kill. From Norway to Iceland and Greenland, settlers faced months of snow, scarce firewood, and constant wind. A mistake in home design didn't mean discomfort. It meant death. Their solution wasn't wealth or luxury. It was survival. They learned to build with the earth, not merely on top of it. Their homes were not fully underground, but partially buried, using the soil itself as insulation. That simple adaptation changed everything. The earth trapped heat, blocked the wind, and maintained steady humidity. It was nature. Own climate control system. The Viking longhouse was deceptively simple, a long, narrow structure with thick turf walls and a central hearth. But beneath that simplicity was brilliant thermal engineering, centuries ahead of its time. The ground served as both shield and storage. It absorbed heat during the day, then released it slowly through the night. What we now call thermal mass. The Vikings discovered this principle through experience, turning their homes into living batteries of warmth. They built walls from stacked turf blocks, dense layers of grass, soil, and roots that stored heat while keeping out the cold. In some Icelandic sites, like Glom, these turf walls were nearly a meter thick, layered to shed water and trap air for insulation. Inside, the hearth was the heart of the home. Its fire heating the walls, the beams, and even the packed earth floor. When the flames died, the warmth remained for hours, radiating steady comfort through the long nights. Airflow is another piece of the puzzle. Small roof vents above the hearth allowed smoke to escape while circulating warm air near the floor. The system was self-regulating, minimal heat loss, constant fresh air, and almost no fuel wasted. Modern architects call this passive design. Buildings that heat and cool themselves naturally. The Vikings achieved it with earth, wood, and intuition. But as time passed, practicality gave way to pride. By the 12th century, as kingdoms rose and Christianity spread, people began to associate Earth's homes with poverty and paganism. Turf houses, once the pinnacle of cold-weather design, were replaced by grand timber halls and stone manors that looked impressive, but bled warmth through their walls. Architectural manuals ignored these humble designs, focusing instead on show and ornament. What remained were small Eckersfolk homes in remote Icelandic valleys and windswept Faroese farms that quietly preserved the old ways. Centuries later, as the modern world searched for sustainable building methods, scientists rediscovered what the Vikings already knew, that the ground itself is the most efficient thermal regulator on Earth. Today, those same principles can be adapted to off-grid and eco-friendly living. You don't need a Viking settlement to use their methods, only an understanding of the land. Start with location. A gentle slope or embankment that allows partial earth coverage. The more soil against your structure, the more stable your internal temperature will be. Instead of turf, modern builders use rammed earth, cob, or compressed earth bricks, all rich in thermal mass. Layering insulation, like straw bales or natural fibers, between the inner wall and outer earth mimics the Viking system perfectly. For heating, a rocket mass heater recreates the same principle as the ancient hearth, burning small amounts of wood efficiently while channeling exhaust heat through earthen benches or walls that radiate warmth for hours. With the right ventilation, low air inlets near the floor, and exhaust vents near the ceiling, you create a natural convection cycle that brings in oxygen and expels stale air without the need for electricity. The science hasn't changed, only the materials and the memory of how to use them. When researchers restored Viking turf homes in Iceland, they found something remarkable. Even without modern sealants or insulation, interior temperatures stayed between 15 and 18 degrees Celsius, warm and stable, despite the freezing air outside. The dense turf not only trapped heat, it absorbed sound, resisted fire, and kept humidity perfectly balanced. In survival terms, these homes were fortresses disguised as farmhouses. Today, we talk about green architecture, but the Vikings lived it. They used renewable, biodegradable materials, designed self-ventilating systems, and built homes that could last for generations without industrial maintenance. Their architecture wasn't about consumption, it was about observation. They worked with nature's laws, not against them. It's a reminder that sometimes the most advanced solutions are the oldest ones. If you understand how heat, air, and moisture move through the earth, you can build a home that stays comfortable in any climate without burning endless fuel or relying on technology. The earth-sheltered Viking home was more than a shelter. It was a philosophy, a statement of harmony between humanity and the land. Its disappearance wasn't due to failure, but to forgetfulness. Yet its wisdom remains. For anyone pursuing self-sufficiency, off-grid living, or sustainable design, the principles of the Viking builders are just as relevant now as they were 1,000 years ago. These homes worked because they respected the laws of physics. They didn't fight the cold. They used it. They didn't block the earth. They embraced it. And that's why they endured for centuries, while more civilized structures crumbled. For historians, preppers, and survivalists alike, studying the Viking Earth House isn't nostalgia. It's strategy. The same methods that kept Norse settlers alive through thousand-year winters can still keep us warm through modern uncertainty. If you enjoyed this look into forgotten Viking engineering, subscribe to In the Beginning and share this story with others who value practical wisdom from the past. Because sometimes, the smartest solutions aren't built from concrete or steel. They reburied quietly beneath our feet.